Okay, guys, so on your first assignment, we're going to need the line tool, join, copy, scale, okay, and rotate. So let me just go through those tools so you have some basis if you need a review. So if you look at the screen, here's your line, all right? Now, if you just click on it and activate it, or again, you can type on it if you look at the bottom of the screen. And the first thing it wants you to do is do the first point. Now, if you want to start off with snapping to the grid, you can go ahead and do that. And I typically do not, but that's just me. So your first point. Now, remember, the blue is showing you length. Do you see the blue highlighted? And if I use my tab key, I can change my degree of the line. Okay, so you can see it shrinking as I get closer to 0 and expanding as I get closer to 90. Okay, now if I have this perpendicular on, it's called ortho mode. It only wants to go 90 and 0. It'll go down to 90 in the negative, and it'll go over to 180 as well. You don't necessarily need that for here, but sometimes it's incredibly useful. So just remember, you can tab between length and the degree for the line. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click, and I'm just going to make some lines here, and I'm going to snap them together. I'm going to press escape to end that tool. Now, if you look, you can see that these are all separate lines. Now, that is a function of the line tool. Everything it makes is separate. If you want it to be a single unit, you have to highlight them all. So just use a crossing box, okay? Or if you keep your finger on the mouse, it'll make that amorphous blob. Once it's all selected, type in join. And now all of these objects, if you look down here, 4 objects converted to 1 polyline, your objects are now joined. That's very important when we move on to 3D objects. It's a great habit to get into, so just make note of that. The other option you have is you could use polyline. Now, polyline, you can do arcs in, but I wouldn't do that yet. You're not ready. So just, you can same function. You can do your line. You can tell it how big you want it. Okay. And just, oops. Okay. And then come back this way. Okay. And now I have a diamond, right? Now, if you notice, polylines are all joined. You can skip the join step if you use a polyline. The other thing you need to realize, or you're going to need, is copy. So if you just type in copy, okay, and it's also up here, okay, copy, it'll ask you what, and you'll select it. If they're all joined, you only have to select one. If they're not all joined, you may run into a problem. Enter, and now it's going to ask you where you want it to move it from. So you really have to think about where you want to attach it before you grab it. Okay, so if I do a copy and I grab it from this corner, but I want to go in this direction, I have nothing to attach it to, right? But if I select this and type in copy and I grab it from the central point, I have this endpoint to grab it to, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's copy. Now say I want this one to be scaled up. I don't want it to be so small. So I believe scale is right here, okay? And it'll give you a readout. So I'm gonna type in scale, and the first thing it asks you to do is, do you want it to be, where do you wanna scale it from? So you can scale it from the center. See that little multi-star? That's your center point. I'm gonna do it from the edge. You can do it anywhere. Anywhere there's a snap, you can also do it from up here. Doesn't make as much sense though. So if I say this is where I want it to be, it automatically shows me my scale factor. Now think of that as your times. If I want it to be double in size, I'm going to say 2 times. And now it's double. If I want it 10 times, I would put in 10. Okay, so I hope that makes sense for now. And we will continue learning about the tools in the next video.